Jacob sent his sons on a venture, and they were a 3-day walk from here. And they were told to go and take some sheep and bring them back. And they decided that they were going to take Joseph and get rid of him. So they threw him down in this pit. And they were just fooling around because they were so mad and angry about what he had done to them as they were going up, telling and bragging. And they thought that they would kill him. But then as they were thinking to do this, some travelers were coming on their way to Egypt. And they decided that they would sell their brother as a slave to these Egyptians. And that's what they did. They took him away. And he ended up spending a very, very hard life as a slave. And he was even thrown into jail for something he didn't even do. At one point during this story, the king of Egypt found out that he was having these dreams. And these dreams, he couldn't explain them. And in the midst of all of this, things happened and Joseph ended up in front of the king because the king felt that he had a talent that he could help him with. So he told him about his dream, and he realizes that Joseph has a gift. He has a gift from God to be able to interpret dreams. So he tells the king about his dream. Now the king's dream was that there were 7 fat cows and then there were 7 skinny cows. And Joseph told him that, well, the 7 fat cows means that Egypt is going to have 7 years of bounty, plentiful food. But the 7 lean cows, the skinny cows, it was going to be 7 years of drought and hunger and famine and no food. So the king right away said, well, Joseph, I'm going to put you in charge of storing the food so that in the future, when we go through these prosperous 7 years, we will be able to store the food, and then when we hit those 7 bad years, we'll have enough food to feed our people. Joseph was only answering to the king. Everybody else did what Joseph told them to do. So as you can see, what God had planned for Joseph is getting ready to come full circle. One day, after the 7 years, Joseph's brothers show up in Egypt wanting to buy food. Now, it had been some years since they had told old Jacob that Joseph had been eaten by a dead animal and that he was no longer living. So, Joseph recognizes his brothers, but his brothers, they don't recognize him because it's been some time. They want to buy food. Joseph overhears his brothers talking about how deep in their heart they regret selling their brother as a slave. Joseph overhears this and he finally goes to them and he tells them, he says, I'm your brother. I'm the one that told you all those things. I'm the one that got you into trouble. I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one. And then there was this big reunion, you know, they hugged and kissed. And then Joseph invited the rest of the family to Egypt so that they would have plenty of food during this time. And King Jacob was so happy This was a happy day for him because he thought that his beloved Joseph had been dead for many, many years. Yet he finds out that God had a plan for Joseph.
That's right.
And through God's plan, it gave Joseph power.
All right.
And Joseph became actually what he was saying, that people would bow to him. And that's what happened. Joseph was second in command to the king in Egypt. That's what God wanted for Joseph. All because of the gift that he had given Joseph to interpret dreams. This is a message. This is for everybody. Especially children, right now. Children, right now. Wake up, look up, sit up.
All right.
Ephesians 6, 1 and 3. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And in 6 and 4, fathers, it says, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Right here. This is a point where me, myself, as a parent, and also Mr. Walker as a parent, we've had to put our foot down from time to time. And those two little women back there that are no longer little girls, they can contest to this. Because there was a time when I had choice words for them. And I can remember them telling a person at one point, you know, our mother used to get on us. And then all of a sudden, you know, she would use those 4-letter words and those 3-letter words, one that start with an S and one that start with a D. And then all of a sudden, one day, she just stopped calling us names and using that kind of language. Children recognize things.